Guys, this is a huge deal. We have a massive, highly requested, in the making of probably like 4 years now, podcast scheduled for tomorrow between me, Schrodinger's Baby Seal, Night Sky Prince, Sleep Easy, and Maximilian Dude. We're actually all going to be getting together to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remakes series, all the things leading up to Rebirth, and of course, the ending and ideas of all things pertaining to Final Fantasy VII's series that they got going on. This has been a very highly requested talk for a long time. Both viewers and community members I've met in person and honestly nonstop throughout comments have been asking specifically for this group of content creators to get together and nerd out basically about FF7. And it is finally happening tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live, guys. We're gonna be live on YouTube and Twitch. I'll be linking it below in the description so you guys don't miss out on it. Now, let's get into this video. The title for part 3 of Final Fantasy VII's remake series is still left to be determined, but there is a specific name that can finally be put to rest, as confirmed by Nomura himself. Also, there are some big confirmations when it comes to the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that is going to answer a lot of your questions, but also introduce more questions on top of that. And man, this is just the beginning. More is on the way, guys, so hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of this and stay up to date while helping to raise that 38% even higher. We are close to 50%, guys. Now, with that being said, let's get into this video. Once again, special thank you to Shinra Art Department on Twitter for paraphrasing it and bringing us these translations from the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Ultimania. Now, it's no secret that the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is following a trend where every single subtitle within the game series is going to start with re in it, with remake and then rebirth. We don't know what the third title is going to be, and many people think Reunion is a great fit for it, which I agree. It would have been. However, they already used it on Crisis Core Reunion, the remakester of the PSP title Crisis Core from 2 years ago. And Nomura, the man who is in charge of all the names, as stated by many people within the development team, including the director Hamaguchi, they've all stated that it is somewhere within Nomura's head. They don't know what the title is going to be, but he will reveal it to them when the time comes. Nomura has said he initially planned on using Rebirth as the third game's title and intended to call the second game Reunion. However, he realized the word's meaning fit better with part 2 and decided to use Reunion for the Crisis Core remaster. There it is, guys. Reunion is not within their plans for part 3, so we can honestly stop talking about it. Baby Seal and Night Sky Prince are onto something with Redemption. A popular one is also Returns, and many people think Revive is another one. But the discussion is always a fun one to have, so I would love to hear what you guys think. Comment below. Now, when it comes to the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we have a lot to talk about. And keep in mind, we have no idea, collectively, we all have no idea where it's going. Nobody does. So all of this is just speculation based on the events that are being presented to us and of course being talked about from the developers themselves, who are withholding obvious key explanations, but of course, spoiler warning ahead for those who have not finished Rebirth yet. Come back after you guys finish so you can join in and have the talk with us. To me, what is so tragic and heartbreaking about the current ending of Rebirth is that we are all confused and unsure of the events that are unfolding right before us. Just like Cloud, almost as if this is like a meta experience and we, the player, are experiencing and feeling the same feelings that Cloud is feeling. Go figure. And just like in real life, we are collectively grieving in a whole new way over this loss. A lot of people have described their reaction to this ending as them feeling empty. There is a void, they're confused and upset, and that honestly sounds a lot like grieving to me. And the devs have strived to hit that mark and very well have done that for many people, even though a lot of people don't realize that. They've said as much here as Nomura said in the original FF7 in order to depict the cruel loss of someone you cherish. They had Cloud be a bystander as Sephiroth killed Aerith. In Rebirth, they wanted to fight back against Destiny and have Cloud make an effort to parry Sephiroth's attack. However, when you actually lose someone you cherish in the real world, you aren't able to accept it right away. FF7 Rebirth strives to predict that inability to accept the loss of someone that is precious to you. Cloud's psychic interference reflects that state of mind. For me, it's a little bit more mind-blowing because Cloud is severely unwell. There are many scenes that show that. Clearly, this is a big focus for them. It's also been confirmed in the Ultimania that Cloud's original FF7 dialogue, when he's holding Aerith and talking about his mouth is dry, his eyes are burning, is actually in Rebirth. We see Sephiroth is trying to show Cloud that reality, and Cloud is not accepting it thanks to Aerith. Shout out to Audrey for bringing this to our attention, but it goes as we finally have clarity on what Cloud is saying in the scene at the Forgotten Capital. Nojima and Toriyama revealed that Cloud is saying his original lines in the scene where you see him speak but do not hear him. The lines that, my mouth is dry, my eyes are burning. Even if you can't hear him. If you played the OG, you would know what he is saying. And I thought as much too when we played the game and we actually were going through the story just a few weeks ago in my live stream. He's reciting what he said in the original game. Toriyama says he can't say much about that scene since it's up for interpretation, but what he can say is when they asked Nomura for advice on how to portray this, he said to include Cloud saying the original lines as a flashback. Kind of see him say Aerith will no longer laugh, she will no longer cry. And then the savage Sephiroth went ahead and threw the blood of Aerith at him. Sephiroth is trying to show Cloud his reality. In order to break Cloud down further, he does need to witness these events. However, Aerith from beyond the live stream is preventing him from seeing the truth in order to protect his psyche, to stop him from becoming a reunion robed clone, essentially losing Cloud in this way, because given the magnitude of the situation, that very well can and will happen, as it's been hinted at throughout the game. All the soldiers we come into contact with, from Broden, Roche, we've seen it happen. In the original game, it does happen to Cloud after the black materia handing over scene takes place during the Northern Crater, and Sephiroth falsely reveals to Cloud that he's a clone and a puppet, with Hojo corroborating, further breaking Cloud even more. We do see Tifa and Aerith band together to ensure Cloud that this will not happen to him in Rebirth, and it very well is within Aerith and Tifa's plans to follow through with this. I strongly believe Tifa's time in the live stream during Chapter 9 in Gongaga has given her access to these visions and elements that Cloud is seeing at the end. We see from Barrett's perspective a lifeless Aerith in Cloud's arms, and then right after that it switches to Tifa's perspective, where we can see both outcomes. No blood on Aerith with her hand touching Cloud's face, and a bloodied and dead Aerith with Cloud holding her hand to his face. Tifa at the end is extremely broken in so many ways. She doesn't even utter a word throughout the entire end of the game, and essentially keeps to herself, as everybody else is. I mean, they're all in mourning. Losing another close friend in Aerith and being justifiably scared of Cloud in this situation, Aerith very well could have also informed Tifa of all this, keeping her in the loop, but witnessing the reality of all of this happening before them is something within itself to experience. This is an extremely cool tweet. Shoutouts to Vanny on Twitter. She posted this here on March 9th, a little over a week after Rebirth came out. In the OG FF7, you can see this crack in the background when Tifa is navigating through Cloud's mind and helping to try to repair it and help him regain his true self. One of the most iconic moments of the original game, my favorite moment in the original game. It, however, looks awfully similar to in Rebirth. When Cloud looks at the sky, he can see a crack or a rift, a giant fracture throughout the sky from his perspective only, because Barrett and Tifa cannot see it. I think this is symbolizing obviously a lot of things. A broken world for one thing, Sephiroth actively merging or successfully merging them, and also Cloud's fractured psyche, which Aerith is desperately trying to prevent from getting even worse. This realization Cloud will eventually come to in part 3 is going to be such a shell shock and further make Cloud's mind sequence even better in part 3, especially since Tifa has prior experience navigating this element already with her own childhood and personal trauma and current trauma from Chapter 9. The constant theme of Rebirth for its early promos and Sephiroth's own words, merging the worlds, is his endgame. We go back to here, the September trailer. Let's actually raise the volume.
My slumber. It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge.
When worlds merge. We have another segment right here. This is towards the end of the game when Cloud and Sephiroth traveling through tunnels, which they love to do together.
To bear witness to the reunion of worlds.
A reunion of worlds. And then that same trailer dialogue is mentioned here from Sephiroth.
It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge. When spite and sorrow are harvested to feed the planet.
Sephiroth wants all of the world's tragedies, everybody to be at an all-time low in order to feed the planet, so that this way him and Jenova can consume the hell out of it. And by the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we are witnessing at least 5 different worlds. I strongly believe there's more than 5, but we're just shown these 5 just because there's an infinite amount of possibilities here, guys. But we have the current remake timeline with our party in the Beagleverse, then we have the Terria timeline where Zack is present, and then we have 3 other stamps being deliberately shown to us. Whenever Zack makes a decision, there's an alternate reality being created, where it's a what if he chose another decision, which I believe it is like alternate universe theory or multiverse theory, right? Where for every action or decision you make in real life, there's another alternate universe where you would have did the other action, right? The Pug universe is where he went to go see Biggs instead of going to Hojo's lab or trying to figure out what's going on with Aerith and Cloud. The Corgi universe is where he hadn't decided on what he wants to do, as he clearly says in that moment. And then the Chihuahua universe, which, by the way, that does not look like a Chihuahua to me. I honestly thought that was a Shih Tzu. But hey, they say Chihuahua. This is the universe where Aerith Prime, the strongest Aerith and OG FF7 Aerith, takes Cloud to have one final date, as she knows she never got a chance to say goodbye and is full on taking advantage of that. I also believe this is the same resolution dream sequence Aerith from Final Fantasy VII Remake, who is ever present across all universes, just like Sephiroth is. And then Sephiroth even states when they're walking around this world that he's been searching for her, and this is where she has been hiding. Sephiroth has always been underestimating Aerith, who is just as strong, if not even stronger than him. At the very end of the game, we do see Zack sitting in the church, but there is no clear indication of what world he is in. I think, honestly, there are no more worlds, and that Sephiroth has successfully done what he's been saying that he wants to do this entire time, merge them all into one, which is why Cloud is able to see a fracture in the sky. He's seeing the same fracture that are in all the other worlds that have been combined into one. And because of this, Zack is seemingly alive and present in possibly the same world as Cloud, now that there is only one. And while Cloud and the party are traveling north to the crater, Zack is still in the church in Midgar, and eventually, one can only assume he will encounter the party again, but I don't know when that will happen. Will he also make his way over to the crater? I know, guys, it sounds confusing, but trust me, deliberately it is. We are withheld a lot of information, and I can only hope that in the future, we possibly get another DLC that could show us an end credit of some sorts like what they did previously, showing us Zack in Midgar at the end of Yuffie's intermission DLC. Maybe we can get some more bits and pieces out of that. So far, this is all we have just to work from. I know there's going to be a lot of comments, and I would love for you guys to comment your interpretations, because that's the cool thing about all of this, is that there are so many different interpretations. There's so many different opportunities for things that I might have missed, things that the devs might have missed, but I would love to hear what you all think, so please comment them below. But we do all have one thing that we could totally laugh at, and it's right here. FF7 Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi says the game's final series of battles basically followed what was in the scenario that Nojima wrote, and initially included 2 more fights. However, these had to be cut down due to how long and tiring things became. Bro, it was gonna be even longer. I heard a lot of horror stories of people who had died and had to redo the fight but selected the wrong menu option, which is confusingly worded, I will admit, only to reset the entire 1-hour encounter from all the way at the end to the beginning and having to go through it again, which I would imagine jaded a lot of people. I'm at least glad that they cut down on it, man, but I hope that going forward, the devs learn to not really have so many of the important story impactful elements just stacked into the final 2 chapters like that. It was a lot, man. We gotta really find a way to spread these things out and at least do a little bit better of a job when it comes to the payoff. Now, I don't think it's the best way to tell a story by any means. I see the artistic vision in which they're trying to do, but there's a lot of people, specifically, well, within the casual fan audience of this game, that are justifiably confused by all of this. And I saw it firsthand myself when I wasn't done with the game yet, but I was getting a lot of comments from people that are like, hey, yo, you need to finish this game ASAP because I have no idea what the hell is going on and I need you to tell me. Which is not the most ideal way to tell a story, but one can only hope that things get better going forward. Fingers crossed. I like this comment. The Triceratops tank was going to be there. This has to be in part 3, bro. But that is a lot of important details that they full on revealed for us. Specifically, this moment right here showing that the Cloud's original lines about Aerith dying is included in Rebirth, and honestly, shout outs to Vandy for this inclusion here, and the confirmation of the way that the stamps and how those universes work and how they interconnected or intertwine with each other. And essentially, I strongly believe Sephiroth has officially combined them all. His end game has been achieved. All he needs now is a black materia, which someone has within their possession and is well on their way to deliver them to him. From the moment that I heard about the multiple universe idea and that the fact that there were 2 different worlds, my mind immediately went back in 2020, 2021 to the fact that there's going to be multiple holy materias, multiple black materias. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing the multiple black materia angle. However, the multiple holy materias is definitely something that we're seeing happening right before our eyes. So it's really cool to see that there was some thought about that. Now, there's a lot of payoffs left to hit, and man, part 3, the wait, I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm thinking it could be 3 years, maybe max of 4 years, but I would love to see it come even sooner. And hopefully when that launches and releases, it's also available on PC immediately. This exclusivity wait time, this ain't it, man. This console generation in general is not cutting it when it comes to the optimization for these performance modes. Now again, that is a Square Enix issue because it is the engine that they chose and the optimizations that they need to make within their development process. But I think I would rather see this game just on vastly better hardware, so this way there's not a whole lot of corners that they have to cut. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please sound off below in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy VII videos are on the way and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.